My ex-wife, 34, sent an email to me, 34 male, pleading with me not to marry my fiancée, 27 female. My fiancée wants to share the letter on her social media to expose my ex-wife, but I feel she should be the bigger person and ignore her. My ex-wife Lily and I started dating in college and were together for almost 10 years, married for 4. I thought we had a perfect relationship. However, around 6 years ago, Lily sat me down and told me she was unhappy with our marriage and felt like she missed out on many fun things in life because we got married early and spent all our effort on our career and finances. We're both lawyers and spent a lot of time on our law school, bar exam, etc., and got really high-paying jobs. She felt she never got to live an independent life and find herself. I was heartbroken as I didn't know a life without her. We went through a lot of stress during our marriage and could see her side. We split amicably and got a divorce soon as we didn't have any assets or kids to worry about. Everything went okay for the first few months. However, Lily started getting panic attacks and went into depression after she started living alone. I still cared about her and helped her during that time. She was also diagnosed with BPD and has been in therapy since. We stayed friends as the transition was difficult for both of us. However, I tried to move on from her by going on dates. Lily and I remained good friends for almost 1 year after our divorce. She asked me a few times if we should try to work on our marriage, but I'd moved on and told her we were better off as friends than as a couple. I met Mila at our running club and we hit it off. Mila was much younger than me but really matched my energy, and we started dating seriously soon after. Mila expressed that she found it uncomfortable that Lily was still such a big part of my life. I also wanted to invest all my energy in my relationship with Mila. I told Lily that I'd be distancing myself from her. Lily reluctantly agreed and we stopped texting each other daily. We only met on social occasions such as weddings or parties, as we both share the same group of friends. Lily and Mila never got along, but Mila tolerated Lily for me. Mila and I have been dating for 3 years, and I proposed to her during the summer holidays last year when we visited her parents' house. We've been busy planning our wedding and plan to get married in September. Everything was going well until last week. I received an email from Lily last week pleading that I shouldn't marry Mila. It was a long email discussing how we are soulmates meant to be together. It was extremely delusional, and she talked about how I was just punishing her by being in a relationship with Mila. She's learned her lesson and I should take her back now. It talked about how I would be abandoning her after I promised her that I would take care of her in sickness and in health for her entire life, and my new marriage vows would be meaningless since I promised all those things to her. I immediately told Mila about this and told her that Lily had crossed the line and I would not only block her everywhere but make sure I had no contact with her. Mila was very upset too and started cursing out Lily on how she was planning to ruin her special day. Mila told me she wanted a screenshot of the email and sent it to my parents. They of course supported Mila and told her that Lily had to be cut off forever from our lives, and I agreed. Mila wants to share the email on her Instagram and Facebook so that all our friends will also see Lily's behaviour, so they all block her and never invite her to any events. This is where I do not agree with Mila. I know that Lily is not mentally well and has not been depressed again since we announced our engagement. Lily has tried to reach out to me through my friends, but I haven't allowed her to speak to me alone. I feel badly for Lily, and Mila sharing the post would only extend the drama. I also worry that my friends know about Lily's mental condition, and it would feel petty to hurt her while I'm moving on and marrying an amazing person in Mila. I told Mila about all this, and she felt that I was still trying to protect Lily when she tried to hurt Mila by sending that email. I don't know what to do at this point. Am I the idiot to ask Mila not to share the email on social media so everyone can see Lily's private email to me? Is Mila right that Lily deserves all the hurt she would get after she makes the email public? Edit, I have yet to reply to the email. I do not intend to, and I prefer to ignore her. Lily cannot be so delusional that I would read the email and leave my fiancé for her. I feel ignoring the email sends a message and doesn't extend the drama or the conversation further. What do you mean you don't know what to do? You don't want the letter shared? End of story. You are not the idiot here. Tell Mila that you do not want it shared, and she does not have your consent to share a private correspondence addressed to you. If she won't drop it or shares it anyway, that's a massive red flag. I would be embarrassed if my partner was publicly being a mean girl. So why exactly didn't you go no contact years ago? You keep Lily hanging as what caused all this insecurity. You are the idiot because you should have cut off your ex a long time ago. Your lack of boundaries might be why your fiancé wants to post the letter as a way to make sure your ex won't keep causing drama. Grow a spine. Why haven't you emailed your ex back and made it extremely clear that you love your fiancé and it's never happening? If you did that, your fiancé likely wouldn't feel the need to go nuclear. She showed the letter to your parents for a reason, probably to make sure boundaries were set. He hasn't answered the email? Oh no wonder Mila is so angry about OP shielding Lily. No, what you're doing right now is running away. You need to respond to that email and tell her firmly it's never going to happen. Her email was extremely disrespectful and you will never talk to her again, so don't ever try again. You need to be an adult and communicate clearly to her and then block her email. Then you can ignore any subsequent communications with her. My 39 male wife, 39 female and I had our son 22 at 16. We broke up before she gave birth, but we got back together when our son was 9. Around 3 months ago, we discovered that our son didn't want any kids. When my wife found out, she was upset and thought it had something to do with us. But he told us that it wasn't and he just didn't want any kids and wanted a stress-free life. Recently, my wife started mentioning the topic of having more kids, which wasn't new for her. She loves kids and has always wanted more. She said that she's sad that she'll get to miss out on being a grandma and she misses when our son was young. I considered this and having another child would be a beautiful addition to our family. When our son was growing up, I didn't really want any more kids. I was a one-and-done person, and I feel like I deprived her of having more. She really made me see the bright side of it, so I told her that I agreed with her. Our son still lives with us, so we let him know what we were thinking and asked him how he would feel if he had a little brother or sister. When we talked to our son about adopting, he was surprised. He asked if we were doing this because he didn't want kids, and we told him it wasn't the primary factor. I told him that he knew that his mom always wanted kids, and the only thing that was stopping her from having them was me. I told him that his choice just made us think more about it. Even though we tried to explain, he wasn't happy. He was worried about the big age difference between him and a new sibling. He used my age gap with my siblings as an example, which I didn't think was appropriate because the situations would be different. My son got his aunt, my wife's sister, involved, and she got mad at me for feeding into my wife's delusions and brought up the age gap again. Our son agreed with his aunt, especially about the age gap. He says having a sibling so much younger than him will be weird. I don't think the age gap is that big of a deal, but the criticism has made me rethink our decision. My wife also started to have second thoughts when she realized not everyone supports us. She thought everyone would be happy, but our son's reaction dampened her spirits. Are we wrong for wanting to adopt a child? Not the idiot. However, don't expect any sort of sibling-adjacent companionship between the two of them. They will have completely different childhoods just because you and your wife are in a different place now. The entire culture has shifted in 22 years, so the outside environment is different too. None of the same shows are popular. Technology has changed a lot, and even the types of toys available now are different. They will have absolutely nothing in common besides you and your wife being in their lives. Also, he's 22. He may not want kids now, but he's 22 and he's a man. The biological clock is nowhere near as much of an issue as it is for a lady. Not that a 22-year-old lady should be pressured into having a baby, least of all because of their parents' obvious issues. Maybe he's worried he'll end up taking on some responsibilities. If you make it clear that he won't be parentified in any way, that might help him relax. Maybe he's worried he'll get asked to move out, so there'll be room for a new kid. OP, what do you think a 22-year-old man will say when you ask if he wants to be a big brother? I mean, you can't really be surprised here. Your decision to have another child isn't up to your oldest child, regardless of his age. Mom and Dad divorced when my sister Sam and I were 13 and 10. That was 12 years ago. My father was a cheater and still is, on to his fourth marriage. Mom met her boyfriend G a year after the divorce, but she kept it a secret and didn't introduce him to us until 2 years later, until she was sure that he was the one. That was when I saw my mother the happiest in a relationship. She's always been a happy and bubbly person. Sam hated G with all her might because she loved my father very much and he was so heartbroken that Mom had moved on. He even made an attempt on his own life. My sister never forgave my mom for it and threatened to cut contact if my mom didn't dump her boyfriend. My mom did. Afterward, my mom was very depressed and down, but my sister and dad were happy. Then my sister left for college a few months later. I know for a fact that my mom started seeing her boyfriend again a year ago. She's been happy again. My sister got married last weekend. Yesterday we had lunch before she and her husband were to leave for their honeymoon. When I arrived, she was a bit down. Apparently she asked Mom to join us, but Mom declined. So she opened up, saying that since Mom dumped her boyfriend, she's been very distant and cold with my sister. Never rude or mean or angry, just cold. If she asked her anything or needed something, Mom would be there for her, like when my sister had a severe illness. But other than that, she never contacted my sister of her own volition. My sister told me that maybe Mom would never be happy again because of her ending her relationship. I told her not to worry about it because they still see each other behind our backs and that Mom seemed very happy. My sister was shocked, and she started yelling in the middle of the restaurant and tried to call Mom to ask her. Then she called me an idiot for never telling her before now. I just never thought it was a secret that I was hiding, just a private matter, and I thought my sister knew too, because how couldn't she realize that Mom has been happy again and has been going for weekend getaways? My sister is now demanding that Mom should break up with her boyfriend or she go no contact, and I feel like the idiot for everything, including miscalculating that my sister still has the same stance. The cheating dad has had 3 more marriages and it's all good. The mom finds a guy and is forever on the outs. Your sister's overreacting. Not everything is about her. P.S. You didn't ruin her honeymoon. You're the idiot for telling your sister that your mom is dating instead of calling her out on her crappy, hypocritical behavior, deeply hurting your mom. It's okay for dad to go through 4 marriages, but Mom has to stay single for the rest of her life? Your sister doesn't love her mother much, does she? I'd be distant and cold to the daughter who's okay with a cheating father, but not okay with Mom moving on. Your mom should cut contact with your selfish sister. Sis should feel guilty for hurting your mom so deeply. Your sister is a manipulative narcissist in her attempt to weaponize going no contact to force your mom to split with someone who makes her happy. Don't you dare let her try to ruin your mom's life. Lesson learned, don't share anything about your mom with her again. Let sister go no contact. She has a husband and a life of her own. Who is she to dictate? In fact, have Mom deal with sister. They can both leave their men. Last year, my friend Kelsey moved to a new city about 4 hours away. She invited me up to stay the weekend and I said sure. While planning, she asked what I wanted to do. I said I didn't mind, she could arrange whatever. As long as I can hang out with her, it's all good. The one thing I did plan was for us to go to a concert that Sunday afternoon that both of us were looking forward to. Saturday, we went out into the city and were walking around. She'd point to various shops and I'd say sure. We'd go in and look around. I thought we were having a good time. She did ask me a couple of times what I wanted to do and I said I didn't know. If she knew of anything fun, let me know. But I also said just what we were doing was nice. All in all, we walked around, got a bite to eat, looked at a few shops, and then it was time for dinner with her family. We were supposed to meet them at a specific train station. However, they missed their train. Kelsey seemed irritated, but I figured it was due to that and worried we'd miss our reservations. I tried to assure her it'd be okay, even calling the restaurant to say we'd be a little late. When her parents arrived, however, she sat next to her mom on the train, glaring at me the entire way to the restaurant. I was baffled as it was a 180. As we sit down to eat, her mother asks what we did that day, and before I can speak, Kelsey says, "Nothing, she didn't know what she wanted to do." I chuckled a little and was going to say I had a good time when Kelsey interrupted and said, "It's not cute, it was actually really annoying." I was taken aback because she said nothing about being annoyed all day. She was making little jabs at me for not coming up with ideas. Even her parents were side-eyeing her. It was pretty embarrassing. I really didn't know what to do. If she'd said something earlier, we could have talked, but I didn't want to make things more awkward for her family. The whole dinner she gave me nasty looks. Eventually, we parted ways with her family and went back to my hotel. She's still irritated. I asked where this came from and why didn't she bring it up all day. She told me it shouldn't be up to her to plan this. I was taken aback because she never asked me to plan anything. Come morning, I reached out to her to ask what time we were leaving for the concert. She gave me an attitude. I finally said, "You know what, I'll forward you your ticket and sell mine. If you're still this irritated with me, I don't think we should go." Suddenly, she started crying, saying I was unfair and should just apologize. I apologized at dinner and at the hotel for not coming up with things to do, but I was also happy with what she came up with, and she should have communicated better. I did as I promised and left. I was able to get a refund from the venue for my ticket. I got an early train back. Kelsey is still very upset with me and says she wasn't wrong. Am I the idiot? Not gonna lie, I absolutely hate planning other people's trips. I hate wandering around aimlessly. I get where she's coming from, but she acted like a total idiot to you instead of communicating like a grown-up ahead of time that you needed to plan the trip. Moreover, it will always be Kelsey's responsibility to suggest the best places to see and things to do when she hosts visitors. Heck, honestly, if I haven't seen a friend for a while, walking around the shops, I don't even have to buy anything, grabbing a bite to eat, and just spending the time talking and catching up is the best plan for me on short trips, because who wants a jam-packed schedule of fun activities where you don't even get to really talk to each other? This is definitely on OP's friend for, at minimum, not communicating better. Disagree. Nothing is as bad as having an I don't mind person staying with you. You are the idiot. She kept asking you what you wanted to do and you brushed her off, leaving her to plan the whole day and try to cater to your taste without knowing what you'd like. You say she didn't bring it up, but it sounds like she was trying very hard to get any bit of suggestion out of you. That sounds tough and mentally tiring. I'd be frustrated too. And I gotta say, the chuckling would have sent me over the edge.